Welcome back to the Terrace House. I'm Penny Del Castillo from InDesign International, here today to talk to you about how I've styled my terrace house living room. It's quite a small space, so we have a lot of compact items, and we'll just take you through and you can see what we've done with the space. Everything's back to how it's supposed to be. This is the usual way we have our living room set up when we're not binge watching Netflix. To dramatise the ceilings in this space, I've actually put a really large, oversized mirror above the fireplace. It's literally resting on the mantle because it's so heavy, and it's tilted slightly forward so that the projection and the reflection is balanced within the space. Our stunningly high ceilings in the terrace house gives us opportunity to do some dramatic pendant lights. This one from Christopher Boots, we did have to have modify to accommodate a ceiling rose, but it's a beautiful piece, adds a very contemporary element to a very old world property. Storage in a terrace house is always minimal, so we've added a cellar over here on the left, which we are somewhat guilty of smashing a few extra bottles during the lockdown period. And then on the other side of the fireplace, we've put a more practical cabinet to hide all sorts of things that you would have no idea what's behind. You might get the gist that I love to mix the old with the new. This is a Franco Poli loom chair, which is made of one piece of leather that can carry up to 300 kilos of weight. It's been hand cut, and it took 11 years to develop the exact pattern to create this gorgeous design. The proportion of the rug in this room is actually quite large in comparison to the footprint. It almost takes up the entire space of our living room floor. But in fact, it makes the room look bigger rather than smaller. Last week I posted on Instagram about design being clever rather than expensive. Here's a great example of that. In this image that you see, the black with the gold, it's actually a wax rubbing that I did myself from Westminster Abbey, and then when I got home, had it framed. One hanging piece, one standing piece, and this particular artist, Julio Brenes, created a gorgeous little copy book called Cafe on My Coffee, which is all hand sketches of places that he's been to, coffee shops around Melbourne, where he's drawn on the side of a coffee cup. There we go. So he goes to the coffee shop, sits there, and then sketches out beautiful images of the actual shop, sometimes inside, sometimes outside. A second piece of art in this room that literally cost me next to nix, so clever rather than expensive, is this little piece here. Represents the Byzantine era in history. It's made up of tiny little pieces of newspaper clippings, and I made it while I was at university in 1990. Just when you thought my entire home was monochromatic, I have a yellow cabinet for the TV entertainment unit, and now a lovely big piece of Sven Koningin art. We have a couple of stools. They're great for pulling up to the ends of the tables when we don't have enough dining chairs, and they also act as tremendous bongo drums. The balance here is in the colour and the intensity of the colour, more so than the proportions. Really brightening up our space, I've placed an abstract piece of art called Ballooning Over the Elements. Really adds a pop of colour to this otherwise quite monochromatic room. Travelling is one of my favourite pastimes. I can't wait to get back out there once restrictions have lifted. This gorgeous piece of art behind me was done by a famous Hong Kong artist who has created Woman and Child with Cat in a window from an apartment block. Great piece, isn't it? You'll notice how I have these just little pops of red coming through in the artwork, the book, and even just the cord of the light fitting. Hello you two, these little guys are from a trip to China that I took a couple of years back. His and hers, like little puppets, sit on the edge of our fireplace. Guilty pleasures of my gorgeous Zuster wine cabinet. Cheers. I have to say, there has been a lot of wine consumed during lockdown. Cheers to that. Thanks for joining me on the tour of our tiny little terrace house living room. I look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao.